Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Alex from TCG Discussions. Wow, let's try that again. Alex from TCG Discussions, and you know how it is. We like to, just do things off the cuff here. Luckily, my list is not off the cuff. I actually wrote down on a piece of mail. My list of top 10 SCRs you should be looking to play in this format. I've been sick like the last week, 2 weeks with the flu, and it has not gone away. In fact, I've gotten worse in some ways. I got better, and then I've got worse, and now, depending on what happens the next day, it could be worse again. So, hopefully, I get it. I feel a little bit on the mend, but I've got like after effects that are just absolutely annoying and been affecting my health. So, yeah, hope that gets better. But these are SCRs you should be looking to play in your deck, right? And I think that this list is super important because these are, I believe, the top 10 SCRs you're probably going to see, one, index, but two, ones you should be looking out for and ones you should be looking to play, and I'm going to give my reasons why. So let's get into it, because a top 10 is like really, really like difficult to quantify and talk about, but it's things that can be absolutely devastating. Now, the one thing I will state is that I'm not familiar with like all the effects of these cards, but I do overall like know generally what they do. Okay, so first is the Mirror Yellow Unison. This can be played in Finn, and it can be played in any yellow deck, and it's really good in Unison deck. So you expect to see this in Dripku, expect to see this possibly in Golden Frieza, expect to possibly see this in even Trunks Vegeta if they start switching to like a more unison-centric, especially with like Gohan being a thing, so on and so forth. It is an amazing SCR. Number one, it's a unison. So anytime that your SCR is a unison, something is very good. Why? There are no counterplays for this. Yeah? Yeah. That's like the first thing to state. Like, there's nothing that stops them, right? We had Homeboy Zamasu, and then Bandai just errated that like the best blue-yellow card ever, one of the only reasons to ever play blue-yellow, like, out of existence. But they hate blue-yellow. I mean, Bojack, Zamasu, yeah. Anyway, Bandai, if you're watching this, bring back Zamasu to the way it was, or just give us Bojack back, please. I'd honestly love both. I think that like both of those cards, even though they're incredibly unhealthy for the game. I think they like are what blue-yellow needs to be a relevant like multicolor, and red-green needs something, man. Please, red-green suffering out here. Anyway, but this Mira, when it's played, bro, it KOs all of your opponent's spell cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. I think that's like the first thing of it. It's either that or that's part of its -4. So this is like where things get a little bit tricky. It has a +1 that I think just stands it. It's a dual attack blocker. And then it has a -4, which is absolutely devastating. And it has an Empower 4, which is why I said that it's going to be relevant, because the Empower 4 on it basically makes the -4 live immediately. And yeah, Homeboy over here, it's just like, if that KO ignoring barrier is a part of the -4, then like everything I'm about to say is like true, right? It KOs everything. It would be KO and everything in rest mode ignoring barrier. It has the ability then to rest 2 of your opponent's cards, and then it gains double strike in 15k. So it's a 25k base unison, and then it like skyrockets to like 40k dual attack double strike. And the reason why I think that you're going to see that is because yellow unisons are going to be very relevant for yellow, and Finn can play it because I think it also like has like a clause like if your leader is a black android leader or something like that. So watch out for that one. Number 2, Vow to Revenge. It won. It didn't win. It got second place in the regional where Finn took first. And it made an appearance there, so it's obviously relevant. It's a card, it's a green extra card that just came out in set 17. Looks pretty cool if you ask me. And it can KO a card ignoring barrier equal to the total cost of like, I think like Frieza Clan Unisons and your like drop, field, energy, right? Like, and basically it's like a mini Primal Carnage, and it makes your opponent discard 2 cards. But it's activate battle, which is why I think that like it's got some utility, because like, oh, I play scientist through and then like swing and then like shotgun and then kill it. Yeah. So yeah. Also would just completely destroy the Mira creator absorbed thing. Yeah. Completely gets rid of that. Next, going to be great at Mass and Primal Carnage. I expect to see this SCR, Text, and Green Hand Destruction and other art like green strategies. Expect to see it. It is 8 for 5. You play it. It gains dual attack, triple strike. It's like 40k. And then if it, I believe if it's comboed, it has like an auto proxy at UKO. One of your opponent's battle cards is going to be barrier. This card is definitely a one-time thing because good players will play around it, but it is something that not every player sees coming, especially in green. There are lots of SCRs on this list that you would expect to see in green a lot more, and I do expect to see a lot more, but because of that, it is one of those things that will catch people off guard. It is one of those things that world-class players have got caught off guard. It was used in the finals for, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but the Asian player that made Super Brawly Hand Destruction like a relevant deck when Cell Surge existed, okay? And like took that to Worlds, yeah, right? Like he was playing that, and I believe it was Andrew Duvall, I think the eventual world champion, actually lost in one of his rounds a game to that card by itself, okay? So like, do not sleep on this SCR. It will be one of those SCRs that if you do not watch out for, I guarantee it will destroy you, okay? Next, number 7, Pan SCR. Pan SCR took a major hit. If you're playing Pan SCR this format, and you have any of the SCRs I'm talking about in it as it pertains to your deck, you should be playing it over this one, okay? I understand Pan is Bay, Pan can be free, Pan can steal a card and be relevant. I'm not disputing that. I'm not even disputing that there are matchups where Pan is broken, okay? What I'm saying though is that her utility, this format, is terrible, okay? It is terrible, and here's why. Due to set 17, we have at least 3 meta decks. 3 of them. You could technically argue 4 that are very unison dependent. Very unison dependent. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 will start at the low end of the list. I also think people are sleeping on the other blue leader this format, but I think that's one of those work in progress kind of things. And I'll talk about that in another video. But starting at the bottom of the like decks that we got, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 have a dual attack unison that gives itself markers throughout the whole time. Now, I wouldn't play that unison in the build, but I do play Boo in the build. And Boo is extremely annoying for a lot of reasons to like every deck in the game. Boonison, as I call him, Boonison is like literally one of the boons of blue, of its apex defensive castle strategy. Okay? That's 1. GT, that's going to be number 2. Okay? GT's unison may not do anything to attack you, but it is the entire strategy around the deck. No Bard's question, right? The fact that Pan doesn't do anything to that is a problem. It is. And before you say, oh, well, my battle cards will. Well, unless you're like Finn, you're not doing anything to that SCR. And as for like all like bonus in for blue, it's like the same concept. As for yellow, Drip coexist, and that Gohan is like that Gohan that they play for like a finisher is literally the best like yellow unison in the game. No questions. It draws a card, has Empower, can use its minus ability basically right away if you play unisons in your deck already, and just slaps, right? It just slaps. It can just get out of hand immediately. And then number 4, Cooler. Cooler is extremely unison dependent. Its main boss finisher is a counterattack board wipe minus double strike, dual attack, something, or triple attack something. I don't know, but it's annoying, right? If you play a Pan against Green Cooler, okay, right? Like if they have 3 energy and play that card, you're done. And your Pan's gone. Like it's just useless. And then the next thing that I need to talk about is this. Due to Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 being played in the game, and people starting to realize, hey, Super Kamehameha is pretty good. What about Beerus Ball and Focus Breakthrough? Yeah, her value has gone way down. And it's not just that. Gamma 1, Gamma 2, because of the leader's restriction on the backside, is now like making Android 18 Let the Battle Begin, making it a relevant card. And my point is that when you reduce Pan's cost in your hand, a player, basically like you get down in the territory of some of these counterplays, and it's just devastating to even attempt because like it's useless. It doesn't do anything. You're never going to be able to play it. So yeah. I think that Pan has fallen from grace and should. I think that like if you play against Black and you don't think Super Kamehameha's in there, you're wrong. If you're playing against Green, like even the Cooler guy, right? The guy who got second place with Cooler in the regional where like Finn was a thing, right? He had Focus Breakthrough in there. He also had a Dodoria in there. So it's like, I'm not sure if Dodoria hits it. I think it does. I think Dodoria does. Dodoria would hit Pan. Beerus Ball for red, Super Kamehameha for black, Focus Breakthrough. That Android 18 is just like now quickly making Rising Blue. It's a blocker counterplay that reduces its like energy cost by 3. So like for 1 energy, you get like a counterplayed blocker that bottom decks a card. It's really good. So yeah. Moving on, we got Majibu, Kabukido, Kai, Absorbed. This is the start of a trend that is on this list that I think is what makes like these SCRs good. Now, Majibu, Kabukido, Kai, Absorbed is a devastating card. Activate battle, play it for 2. Opponent's battle cards can't attack for the rest of the turn. And then you can Spirit Boost 2 on play to then like steal your opponent's unison. This is extremely relevant. Extremely. It interacts with the unison. And the reason why that is extremely devastating is because one, its activate battle play cost is not relevant, right? Blue tries to play God Sealing and green still has 2 energy open. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. As for Spirit Boost 2, Cooler exists. This unison is going to see play. It's unison. This SCR is going to see play. You will see this SCR. And in fact, if I was playing Cooler, this would be my SCR of choice. Yeah, I'll gladly take your unison. Everything in that deck empowers to 3 at the minimum. Okay? This effect will always be live. The ability to steal your opponent's unison is backbreaking. This could end like Drip Koo's kill turn. This could end Blue's defense. I mean, even if they God Sealing it, they could just play it again. It's not like the Android card does anything. So like it just solo gets rid of it. It could straight up steal GT's unison. Black really doesn't have anything that is really worth stealing, but you could. I mean, I guess that the new Super Mirror unison is pretty annoying if it sticks. And the Boonison, right? Like Boonison can just be taken. So, all 5 colors right now, right? They all have some kind of top deck strategy or some strategy in their decks for every color that does play a unison. Black is probably the main exception to this. You are probably going to see less like effectiveness of this SCR against it. But I'm going to tell you right now, a basic baby hatch to everything but a leader is really good. Just is. If you don't think that that is good, then I don't know what to tell you. It's not just that. It's a stealer. It steals the unison, right? So, like, and then, like, in Cooler, you'll just replay another one. And 2 energy is nothing. Like, for an SCR play, that is nothing, right? Like, so, yeah. A lot of people, and I'll give, like, a small, like, little honorable mention now that I think about it. The Chinimba SCR. Heroines. Sorry, I wasn't planning on doing that, but, like, there's just, like, a couple things that I feel like I should mention. And I'll mention this before we get to number 1. The next one is only rated higher. Okay, is only rated higher due to an effect on it, and this is extremely pivotal because of one of the top decks of the format. Oh, I even forgot to mention this, like Cell's Unison, for example. Kibito Kai's ability to steal the Cell's Unison is extremely important, which is another reason why Pan sucks. Pan's so terrible, this format. Poor Pan. Anyway, Android Super 17, Siblings Absorb. I love this SCR for yellow. I think it is the best yellow SCR in the game. Period. Right? If I'm playing a yellow deck, I'm playing this one. Okay? Why? Because it's a walking cold bloodlust with deflect written on it. It is a 40k critical that absorbs a card ignoring barrier and is a cold bloodlust counterplay. You cannot ask, like, it absorbs a card in wrestling ignoring barrier, negates its effects, and then negates the effects of the card that is being played. This is extremely relevant because Cell's turn 5 to play a 7 cost to rip your hand to 0 is no longer a thing. If I was playing Trunks Vegeta this format, this would be my SCR of choice. Right now, AOD is playing some kind of slug play strategy that is very, very oppressive. And I believe in AOD's ability to play that game plan effectively. I have the deck myself, and I can tell you it is very oppressive. However, the flip side is that Siblings of Zord is an immediate out. If that slug is on the board at all, you can't use your evolves. Feels bad. And the thing is that while Kibito Kai is definitely got a lot more relevance in terms of affecting a unison, a straight Cold Bloodlust to a card is broken. There's a reason why Cold Bloodlust isn't one. If I'm playing Golden Frieza, I am playing Siblings of Zord next to it. If I'm playing Dripku, I am playing this SCR over it. And the only reason why I feel that it is better than Kibito Kai, but not any of the other ones in the top 4, is strictly because Cell exists as a deck. It's no more than that. Cell's ability at turn 5 to effectively end the game for you in such an unfair manner, it sucks. It's just what you got to play through. It's just what you got to play through. It is extremely difficult. I get it. Nobody likes to play against it. It's not fun. They are probably going to have to do something to the deck. Unfortunately, I don't know what that is. Maybe ban the Unison, because I think that that's like a crux point of the deck, right? Like if you're at 5 life and then all of a sudden like you get a life credit or something, I don't know. I don't know what they have to do. I don't know what they would do. I like that Vegito Unison because like I think that it wasn't broken until Cell. But then they released this barrier Cell for a drop that like comes into play and then it's just annoying. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but bottom line is that Siblings of Zord's Cold Bloodlust effect is insane. It's just insane, guys. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's insane. And it can effectively like address 2 battle cards too, which is like really relevant. Its ability to also negate effects, like if you're playing in Cell, you could then like negate the drops effects and just be like, Come here. Hey, mirror. Hey, mirror. Yeah, absorbing card ignoring barrier. I'm not sure if I think the negate effect just might apply to that one. Like the card being played, but then it absorbs the card ignoring barrier. I think that if I'm remembering it, that's what it does. Moving on to number 4, the Vegeta SCR. A lot of people think this is the best SCR in the game. I do not think this is the best SCR in the game. To be fair, this top 4 I feel is like interchangeable. I feel like it personally, if it was your opinion of preference, you could flip any of these around for any number of reasons, because Vegeta SCR is definitely a devastating SCR in this format, period. Because it has deflect, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. There are matchups you do need to be concerned, though, right? There are colors that make this SCR very ineffective. Green doesn't do it. Black is a dangerous one. Blue is obviously like the SCR is straight terrible against it. It's really difficult. Red, it's really good against itself, which is kind of weird to say. Yellow, it's really good against. You don't overly care what they do. If they rest it, you just get rid of it, and they don't have anything that can like just KO it right away. And because it has deflect, your SCR can't really do anything about it either, which kind of sucks. But so yeah, in green, it just absolutely stomps on. So like, basically though, if you play against blue or black, you're gonna have a tough time with this SCR. Petrification exists for black. There's the counterplay. Deborah, there is just a myriad of cards that black and blue can use. If blue has an established Boo unison, that SCR is not worth it in the slightest unless you kill it. Even if that is the case, they still have Baby Hatch, which can just effectively stop your turn and then effectively make getting rid of it very bad, because basically the value of the leader being minus 5k is effectively gone. So yeah, like sucks. But that being said, it is a board wipe ignoring barrier that also gets rid of unisons, and that is backbreaking. Okay, it places them in the drop area, which for GT, like, it has recoverability, but it'll have to recover, which kind of sucks. But then this is going to be effective against everything that I talked about. Unisons are extremely important. Everything that I talked about with Kibito Kai applies to this card. Its minus 5 ability to the leader is broken. So, like, if you have a lot of pressure on board, which U7 generally does, GT generally does, then this card becomes extremely effective right away. So, just for playing it and then getting rid of it, not even having the dual attack triple strike active, no, in U7, it's very effective. But yeah, not a whole lot to say. The next one, I think, is better, because I think that its effect is like the most broken SCR effect in the game, because it's basically Super Shenron 2.0, and that's Baby Hatch Jack. Your turn's over, come back to me, right? If this card resolves, that's it, right? I mean, we've all felt it. We've all sat across from the table thinking that we've got game, thinking we got a great pressure situation going on, thinking that we've got next. And then all of a sudden, Baby Hatch comes down, and it turns out we don't have next. We're not okay, okay? You know that My Chemical Romance song, I'm not okay. Yeah, they have a 40k attacker now, and the turn's done. I've seen this card solo win games. I've seen this card solo be ripped off life and stop a kill turn. I've seen a whole host of ways that this card comes in clutch and just completely overwhelms and breaks your unison, breaks like the game, not your unison, but breaks like the spirit of your opponent. But yeah. Next, I have to talk about this because it is extremely important. As an SCR, Celzino. If you're not looking out for this SCR in this format, you're doing something wrong, okay? There are a lot of really good green and yellow decks now, and I expect this thing to pop up everywhere, especially in Cell. Go figure, right? Cell plays Celzino? No way. It's not like Retro Regeneration was specifically designed to play it or anything. Yeah. But bottom line is that Celzino being a card that comes down guaranteed on turn 5 because they'll defend themselves with Dormant. That card might need to hit Bandai. But basically, Dormant effectively makes Celzino an inevitability in green. And due to this, that like, oh boy, 40k quad strike dual attack card with deflect written on it that just says, let me choose 3 cards out of your hand and get rid of them. Right after I played a 7-drop. Yeah, that reduced your hand to 3, effectively making you lose the game. And even if that wasn't the case, if your unison had 7 markers and you were still able to play Celzino in some capacity due to the cards that were on the board, it's a good time. It's going to be a great time. -6 to your hand and life. 40k, double attack quad strike at 5, go down to 0. Seems good. Seems good. And anytime you're able to choose cards in your opponent's hand, we all know the feeling of, if you've played any green decks, playing that Selzer Shrinkamahamihan, hitting that SCR, you just seem to always pick out all the super combos and negates out of their hand. Oh, man. Celzino cards, man. Celzino. As I said, we're going to have a little bit of an honorable mention. We've got SS3 Gohanks. I think that card's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Then we've got the Janimba SCR. This is being teched and fin as a good counter. I think it could be good. And then Heroine's Lineage. That's just your bottom feeder, generically good SCR. That's very cheap. Look into it. Now on to number 1. Supreme Kai of Time, Space, Time Unraveler. I think this is the best SCR in the game. And the only reason why I think it is the best, it is not better than SCRs in specific colors, but this SCR is good for every single color. Period. There are strategies that you may not want to play this in, like for example, Android 16. Although I still think you can get away with playing this in Android 16. But Baby Hatch just cleared it better. Cleared it better for blue. But there is something to be said about Kai's Activate Battle. Okay? Although she's a little bit... Basically, all the same risks of playing like Hatch and blue, right, apply to also Supreme Kai. The difference is that her warp effect is devastating, right? If that warp effect sticks against U7, they're crying. Like their unison's gone, their board is gone. They have to reestablish all that aggression again. It's not like that they can't just drop an SCR or like the Goku next turn and just like poo-poo on you, but like the point is that this card interacts with unisons and it sends it to the warp. This is extremely important. Because I think that, like, the cooler, the way it works is if the unison goes to the drop area, right? This doesn't put it in the drop area. I could be wrong about that. It's a new deck. I haven't, like, read the leader. But they're not going to get a draw for this, if I'm correct. As for GT its effect plays it from the drop area, and most lists only play 2. So if you do this effect one time, or they charge their second unison, or filtered under to increase a marker... This thing could solo win you the game against GT. As for blue, what are they going to do? God sealing it back to your hand? Tap again? Right? You get rid of all their battle cards? Let me tell you, if Supreme Kai Space Time Unraveler comes out against Android 16, we're crying. we're actually crying. It just means death for everything. It just means death for everything. You have to reestablish your unison. You have to reestablish your battle cards. And it's not like there's an unlimited number of those. Most of the effects that we want to do play for more energy. And let me tell you something. Although we have a lot of charge targets, it feels bad. Feels real bad. Same thing, Gamma 1, Gamma 2. It feels bad to have this SCR played against you. Basically, just get rid of everything minus like your little 17 dude ignoring barrier. Yellow, same difference. It's really good, right? And the other thing is that Supreme Kai of Time is not as easy to play around as Primal Carnage. Primal Carnage just basically says, smartly outplay your opponent There is no way to outplay around Kai, right? Like, if it would behoove you to swing in a strategy matchup, for example, like let's take U7, even though U7 will never play Supreme Kai Times or Samurai Outlaw. It will never happen. It will never, ever happen. Got it? Good. But in a world where it did, okay, do you swing with your battle cards first before you play more battle cards? Because getting your leader swing shut off and getting your unison swing shut off can be devastating, right? And this is against U7, right? So I guess like it wouldn't matter if U7 was playing it. But my point is that like, I mean, the leader swing doesn't really matter as much because of like the whole draw thing. But most leader effects do swing with the draw. So if it would behoove you to swing your battle card first, stopping the unison and the leader swing is very dangerous. Then moving on to yellow, drip coup. It would clearly matter that occurred. Green, cooler. It would clearly matter that her activate battle effect occurred because you wouldn't be able to swing with your unison or your leader. If you had like the Golden Freeze on board and this card was in their hand, whoo, chill. Yeah, it'd be too good. And the thing is that she's also a timely card. If I'm able to defend myself well and then play this at the end of the turn or play this at the start of the turn, defend myself from all your battle card attacks, it feels bad to even want to commit a battle card to it if you can't get rid of it. The same thing against Cell. Remember that deck I was just talking about with Cell Xeno? Getting rid of that unison is devastating, okay? Number one, it is a straight -2 to every material of an 8-drop on the board. Number two, it is a straight, like, Vegito unison, please get out of here. And then you effectively make them play the game correctly, right? With Dormant and Freeze the Charismatic. Drastically decreasing their defensive capabilities. And this is all before the fact that, like, yada, yada, yada. So if they use their pop effect on their leader, and you play this card, like, post-leader swing, and I think it's all you should probably always be attacking with your leader first. But, yeah. Really, really good. Like I said, destroys GT. Basically takes Blue's castle and dismantles it. Destroys U7's setup, although it's not like they can't clap back at you with like more cards. Drip coup just cries. Other yellow decks not as much because they play unisons, but it's not as unison dependent. Boonison though is just the boon of blue, so it's gonna matter. Gamma 1, Gamma 2 are severely affected by this. Like their high marker unison just basically gets taken out, and can't be its effective 25k dual attacker. Black, you could make arguments, but black doesn't have any like super great unisons. I mean, other than like the new Mira one in the previous SS4 one. Black just really has gotten, like, screwed in the unison department. It's like, I don't know what it is with them and Black, man. Like, seriously. Like, small rant real quick. Why does Black not have, like, a unison counterplay? Why? Why does Black not have a unison other than Mira to play? Not Mira, but, SS4 Bardock. Why? Why is every unison for Black just, like, purely archetypal, like, contingent, and then absolutely booty for any generic playability outside of it? Why? And before y'all say, oh, but what about the Toei unison that steals something? That was good for like 1 second in this game's history, and trust me, it is not good anymore, okay? And even like the new Mira unison, it is a 20k, it has 2+1s, which I like, and it's not very good. Like, compared to like the Bardock draw, like, every turn. Oh, and it's -2. So it's like, feels bad. Feels real bad. But, like, black gets shafted on this front, and I don't get it whatsoever. But yeah. Sprint Guy's not really effective against black, but it is effective against their aggression. And yeah, I mean, I just see matchup after matchup after matchup, deck after deck, where this SCR puts in mad work. I mean, literally, speaking of black, there is one black deck in the game. Actually, there's two. There's two decks in the game. Goku Black and this leader. Mechi Kabura absolutely hates this SCR. Shutting off your leader's triple attack just feels terrible. Feels bad. So, yeah. And then I had only 2 more honorable mentions that I wanted to save for after number 1, and that is the Supreme Kai Brainwashed. Do not sleep on this card. It is a card that can steal games from people, right? It is basically like Baby Hatch for you next turn if you are at low life. You won't be able to swing. You'll have to crit a life. It's a 50k double strike, and it can come very timely. It can be a very timely played card too, right? Like if you are at low life in a very close game and your opponent has 2 energy up and this card is played and they've defended your leader swing, and in the middle of defending your leader swing, they activate this card, you can just straight have to pass your turn and possibly lose the game. Yeah. I really wanted to give that SCR a quick shout out. It is by no means better than any of the other top 10 on this list. It is definitely by no means any of the honorable mentions that I had. I don't think are better than any of the SCRs that I put on this list. And I think that, you know, when it comes to SCRs, price has to be a factor, of course. And, you know, deck consideration has to be a thing, but I think that when it comes to the generically best SCRs that we have in this game and per color, these are the SCRs that you should be looking at. I hope you guys found this video informative. I think that this is a very solid list, especially with like the 4 honorable mentions that I had. There might be like another one you could put on here, but for an honorable mention, but I don't think that anything that I haven't stated so far is like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that you should be running really into anything else. You may run into the Janemba SCR, the counter one. Watch out for that. Just a 40k double striker that just is counter. I don't think you'll really run into Heroine's Lineage, and SS3 Gohang's maybe played in Bulma, because apparently Bulma is really good right now. I don't know what kind of sleepy tech is going on with that, but yeah, I hope you guys found this informative. I hope I kind of like explained my reasoning for my top 10 choice. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below where you agree or disagree. Again, as I said before, I want to reiterate the top 4. I think you can go either way with saying this is the best SCR in the game. But yeah, I think that it's a pretty solid list, and I'm sticking to it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment sections below, and I will see you guys next time. This is TCG Discussions, signing off. Laters. Oh, by the way, go Warriors in Game 6.